All right, let's talk about what a lot of people think is the strongest shotgun in the game, Smithereens. We'll jump right in here with it. We'll talk about the base stats. So you can see from the base stats that the critical hit rate and critical hit damage has a little bit of a buff, but critical hit rate is very low, 1%. So you might wonder, why is everybody talking about this being a crit hit weapon? We're gonna get into that. In general, the stats are pretty much leveled normal shotgun stats. There's no crit hit rate. There's no crit hit damage to speak of. There's very little weak point buff there. It's pretty much a short range, hard hitting weapon, right? This is in general what we're going to get. However, when we pop over here to the unique ability, we can see that on hitting the enemy with all fired bullets, so all of the bits of the shotgun shell hit in one spot or hit one enemy, then it increases the firearm critical hit rate and firearm critical hit damage of the attack. Upon landing a critical hit on the enemy, grants the firearm's unique ability amplification. So let's look at this. On landing all bullets, firearm critical hit rate jumps to 100%. So what this means is we don't need to do anything to mod for crit hit rate. However, crit hit damage is going to get a +10 modifier, so we could certainly try and spec into that. So the more crit hit damage we get into the weapon, the more damage it's going to do. And then on top of that, we can work towards some particular damage type, let's say toxic or fire or any of those others, right? Duration is 2 seconds and the shell capacity is +4. So amplification gives you that duration of 2 seconds and then shell capacity of +4. So this is going to be, again, another buff to the weapon's ability, and certainly an extraordinarily powerful weapon. As you can see from the gameplay that we're rolling now, this weapon hits hard. It'll single shot anything, any 100 level enemy, and it'll single shot them. You get up to bosses, as long as you're getting all of those, bullets hitting at once. It can do a tremendous amount of damage. On a character like Glay, who doesn't worry about ammo, this could be an incredibly powerful weapon. From here, let's jump on in and talk about the mods. As we always do, the first thing we want to do is get our firearm ATK up as high as we can. We can do this with rifling reinforcement, so this is certainly going to help us. Action and reaction will also give us another 61% with a recoil of +20%. Recoil isn't really impacting the weapon that much, so we're okay in that regard. Bullet integration will also bring our firearm ATK up by another 10%, and then in addition to that, we'll get a firearm critical hit damage of 10%. So getting that critic damage is important here. We want to do everything we can to increase that. We have hit rate focus, which also brings our accuracy up by 30%, and then firearm critical hit rate damage by +13%. So again, big plus here. We get better concentration to even boost that critical hit damage. This gives us +37.2%. So those three mods together are certainly getting us a lot more there. Now, if we're not on Glay, we might want to worry about shell. So shell capacity is +33%. It's going to give us a little bit more ammo in the barrel there. And then expanded weapon charge, rounds per magazine of +49%. It's going to help us out. And then expanded high power magazine will give us another 50% in terms of what we can hold in the weapon. So all of this will give us a lot more ammo and a lot more shell capacity to be able to hit the enemies hard. And you can see that from the gameplay that we rolled earlier. And then on top of that, we are using Unstoppable Smasher. When defeating an enemy, shell capacity is +30% for 5 seconds at a 33% chance. So this gives us even additional rounds. So the only negative here, if you're not Glay, finding high power rounds in the missions is going to be a little bit more difficult. So again, a lot of people hate on the shotguns. The shotguns aren't something you would main. They're something that you pull out to do some high damage, a very short burst damage, and then turn around and continue to use your primary weapons. I think this is a very powerful option, and certainly this build is very strong. You can see that from the gameplay that we rolled earlier and what we're rolling now. It'll single shot just about anything. Now, if you do miss some of those pellets, then it's not going to hit as hard, right? So it's going to be reduced in how hard it hits. But as long as you're hitting all those pellets, you can see that it does a tremendous amount of damage. So just make sure that you're focusing on getting all the pellets in there, because as you saw from that footage we were just rolling. So from the footage that we just rolled, you can see how important it is to continuously make sure that you are getting close enough to get all the bullets onto, or all the pellets, as we might say in a shotgun. Get all those pellets onto that enemy so that they all crit. Right? If they don't all get there, they won't crit. You can see what we're rolling now that If you miss, they don't crit. So we've got to get close enough or aim well enough that we're going to hit all those pellets. And when all those pellets hit, we're going to get an instant death on whatever it is we're shooting at, all the way up until we start getting to boss fights, and then it's just going to do a tremendous amount of damage. So that's going to be it for the mods. Let's talk about what we might want to roll on this weapon. So you can see from what I have here, I have firearm critical hit damage. That's going to be a good roll. Hip fire accuracy could be a good roll. Any kind of electric or fire or chill ATK would be good. Weak point damage is okay. Anything that gives you additional magazine capacity would be good. Base ATK damage would be good. So, these are the things you might look for in your rolls. Other than that, I think that about wraps it up. So who's this weapon for? I think any character could carry this weapon. It's going to hit hard. It's going to be able to, do some significant damage to anything in the game. Obviously, with the ammo economy and the heavy ammo sector, if you will, Glay's going to do better because she has unlimited amount of ammo there. You could certainly say that Enzo would be a good play for it. But I think in general, if you're using this as a backup weapon, any character can take this weapon. And as long as they're able to, get close enough to aim and have all the pellets hit, they're going to get tremendous results from it. That is all we got. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. We are not currently a monetized channel, so any likes, subscribes, and comments are greatly appreciated. If you'd like to support us further, you can go on in the Nexon site because we are a Nexon creator, and you can support us there by using this creator code. This will support us greatly, so thank you again for that. If you'd like to support us even further, you could go down below. It's one of the links below. You'll find the Humble Bundle link that will take you to some discounted games. That discount will be applied. We will get credit for the sale, but we don't affect the price of any of those games when you do that. Otherwise, thank you again for watching, and we will see you in the next one.